So my name is André, as many of you already know, and I would like to very warm welcome you today to our webinar. So are you excited to know how you need to write the right cover letter? Can you maybe just identify this into the chats and make it visible to me? So just put yes or plus. Would you really like to get some hacks on how to get started? All right, I see yes from Hans, from Wood, from Rupsa, from Christian. All right, sounds great. So let's then get started. So today in our webinar, I would love to tell you a little bit more about the cover letter itself. With the steps of the application process, and give you comments about different sections which are there in consulting cover letters. Please bear in mind that consulting cover letters may differ a little bit from the cover letters of other industries. And therefore, we also want to give you some specific tips about how to write the general section, how to write about why me, why consulting, or why the company XYZ. All right, so basically, can you guys write down into the chat what are your 3 or 5 reasons why do you really want to join consulting? What really motivates you? What drives you towards this industry? I just want to hear some of your feedback. For me, one of the typical reasons personally was to have an opportunity to work with the senior management on the projects which really matter. Just to give you a couple of examples. When I was interning at Rollenberger at the age of 21, my second project was, for example, to help Russian Olympic Committee to get ready for hosting Winter Sochi Olympic Games 2014 in Russia. What do you think? Was it a project where I was able to create an impact with my 21 years old? Alexandra, you are Russian. What do you think? Not really, right?
A little bit.
Maybe just in 2016, I was 2016, 17, and 18. I have been working in Dubai for one of the local governments to help to create a digital infrastructure for the city. Do you think this had some impact on the life of 4 million inhabitants of the city? Can you maybe just put it in the chat? What do you think, guys? Yeah, seems like not. Yeah, then this is not the reason. Let's go to the next one. So for me, it's pretty obvious that with consulting, you can earn extremely high salaries. And actually, the vast majority of our clients already start receiving from 50 to even 200,000 euros or US dollars as a starting position in consulting after their bachelor's, master's, or MBA degrees. Guys, would you like to earn that much? Would you like to make a fortune? Probably also no. All right, it's boring. Alexandra, let's go to the next one. For me personally, it was also all about traveling and having an opportunity to travel the world and work in different countries, as I have been working in more than 30 projects in 10 different countries all across Western Europe, Central Europe, Eastern Europe, Russia. I even done a couple of projects for my clients from South Korea, and I've spent roughly 2 years in the Middle East out of Dubai office. So that was a very much intensive traveling. However, nowadays with COVID, this has changed quite a bit, I would say. Yeah, and last but not least, what do we have? Anything else? Of course, it's all about the people. Guys, do you really want to be surrounded by the people who are well-minded, bright-minded people from whom you can really learn a lot? Then just put yes in the chat. There are so many things that might be holding you actually back from getting into consulting. I know, and even in this audience which we have today, there are quite some few people whose profiles is not really noticed by the recruiters, who are not getting or receiving their interview invites, or they actually don't even know how much time they need to prepare, actually, or they do you really know what's the right application strategy and approach for you? What should you follow? Or whether you have enough skills and whether your personal and professional skills are good enough to be a top candidate in consulting. Where some of you might be thinking that women or females in consulting are not good enough, or it's hard for a woman to break into consulting. Alexandra, what do you think? Is it hard to break into consulting for a woman?
I mean, as you have already mentioned, I'm from Russia, so it's quite specific here. So I think yes.
But your friends have actually done this and have joined McKinsey, right?
It's also true.
Okay.
Yes.
So you see, everything is possible. All right. So let's move on. And basically, I just want to tell you like whom this preparation will be good enough for. Consulting now means equal opportunities to so many people, independently of your origin, of your background, of your sex, of your, religion or whatever. It's basically all the consulting firms are celebrating diversity. And it doesn't matter whether you are a student, MBA, or an experienced hire. You will definitely have also get your chances. And consulting firms take people from all academic backgrounds, from both target and non-target school. So I was basically not from the target school, and I still made this. Gaurav, by the way, as well. So therefore, stop these limiting beliefs, leave them out of your head. And take the next step, book a first call with our client manager today to figure out how you can actually break into consulting landscape. All right, maybe then just a couple of words about who we are. So our company, Consulting Masters, is founded by two former consultants. So the one is a smiling gentleman in India, residing in Mumbai, Gaurav Bosler, and a good friend of mine. Also by myself. My way into consulting was not very easy. I've been I had huge handicaps. Like I came as a foreigner to Germany without knowing proper German language. No one really knew about my Ukrainian education in Germany, and this was of no value in Germany. Germany is considered to be one of the most competitive markets in the world, with a huge range of really great business schools and alumni from those business schools, from rich families who, of course, have the privilege of stepping into consulting. And my path into consulting was also a lot of it had a lot of stones. So I needed to first apply 40 times to get 39 rejections. So can you guys actually imagine how would you feel yourself that you get one rejection email after another? Like you are not good enough. Thank you very much for applying and showing your interest. But we decided to go on with another candidate. Gaurav, is it something familiar to you?
Very familiar. I'll talk about that separately.
Let's compete how many times we have failed before we actually succeeded. And you know what it really takes to believe in yourself after people say no to you 39 times, that at the 40th time you still keep on shooting for the stars. Like imagine like people tell you no, 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 no. And then I don't know, after another 20 no's, it's finally yes. Yes. So this is basically just a part of the story. But all right, I think I spoke too much. Gaurav, what brought you to that webinar?
So good morning, afternoon, evening, depending on where you are, and welcome the Consulting Masters family. I hope this is one of the first interactions, and we have many more interactions and have productive sessions that will take you to your consulting dreams. I think like what André was mentioning, I think consulting is a rough and tough patch to get into, no doubt about it. And I also come from a non-target school. I feel a lot because I came through MBA. I had two chances. The first one was making it to internship, and a lot of people, as you know, convert their full-time through internship in consulting and investment banking. It's a much easier route. So I also tried my luck. I applied to almost 50 odd consulting companies. I got all the rejects. In fact, probably they did not even see my application because they were all system generated emails. It was so bad that I had created a rule using those typical words, and I had a folder in Outlook called rejections, so that I don't have to read it. It automatically goes there when the rejection comes, because I just couldn't take it. So many rejections. But I think slowly you come over that, and you realize something must be wrong in the way you are approaching it. Be it the preparation, be it networking, be it the marketing, and one of the marketing document we are going to discuss. And yes, absolutely, improved a lot, practiced a lot, and then got into McKinsey, BCG, and so many other companies, and decided to choose McKinsey. Again, McKinsey Germany, despite of not knowing German language, I actually could make it through their really the toughest test that you can think of, the Super Day system that McKinsey Germany has. So yes, the journey has been tough, but it's been superbly rewarding. There's no doubt about it. And I think you guys already spoke about the high salary, traveling, and working with the best guys. Another thing that I will just add to that is, it's not just working with the best guys, but having that network of your life. So now if I have to go to any country, even if I go to Panama or, I don't know, some remote part of Africa, I just have to open my McKinsey alumni database and reach out to some people, and they're ready to help. And that's a lifetime of asset that you build through consulting. So it's been very, very rewarding. So yes, my journey in consulting was 6 years of following it up with my coaching journey, which I think was even more rewarding and kind of successful, right? Where probably I created 500 plus people who could actually live the same dream that I was able to live. So I'm hoping that you guys will help me and André take that number very close to 1,000, probably this or next year, right? So hoping to work with all of you.
All right, thanks for your introduction, Gaurav. By the way, as our company have already helped more than 500 individuals to get into the leading consulting firms, including MBB and others, I have a question to you. Since Gaurav and myself, we have this clear ambition to serve you and to minimum double this number as soon as possible. So guys, are you ready to work hard? And can you please help us to fulfill our dream to have staffed more than 1,000 people this year? Already. Can you just identify this into the chat? Alexandra, what a nice map. What does it mean?
That probably means that we're worldwide, that we work with candidates from all around the world, cover more places here, but I think that these guys are going to help us.
Yeah, exactly. So indeed, we've used to work, and so all those dots there identify the hotspots where we used to previously work with people. And we staffed more than 500 individuals, including 200 people to the MBB companies, and all over the world. As you see, North America, throughout Europe, Western Europe, Central Europe, Eastern Europe, Northern Europe, Russia and CIS states, Middle East, Southeastern Asia, Australia. Maybe there is just one spot which haven't covered yet. Last time we spoke about Antarctic, but that was the past. The future, according to Elon Musk, we need to conquer Mars. That would be the next ambitious objective today. All right, let's basically skip this one as well. And by the way, Alexandra, really nice start. Very well done. I really love it. Thank you. Big compliment to you.
Oh, you're welcome. And now I think that it's time to have fun a little bit before we're going to dive directly into cover letter and all these complicated slides which are going to led by our coaches, and they're going to describe you everything, and it's not going to be so complicated anymore. But let's see, what do you already know about cover letters? And for this, please check Zoom chat, and there you will have a link about the consulting or the cover letter for consulting already. And I want to highlight that the winner of this quiz is going to get a free strategy call with our coach. It's going to be completely for free. So it's a high competition, and I hope that someone is going to get it today. I think that so in this case, I think that we can start. I wish everyone good luck, but think about the time and good answer. Okay, interesting. Only one person got the correct answer. Let's see, who is it? P. Okay, P. You got plus 510 points. Let's go. The second question. Okay. Third question. Yeah, of course. I think that it's almost obvious for everyone. Okay, but who was the first? That's the most interesting. Okay, and now Tejas is number 1 right now, and we have 2 more questions. Great. Hans, okay. But let's move to the last question, and let's see who is going to get a free strategy call. Okay, and we have the winner. The winner is Tejas. Can you please write down into then we will contact you and you're going to get your free strategy call. And you're going to speak with Andrew about how to get into consulting.
Gaurav, it's your take.
Okay, let's deep dive into the topic of the discussion today. I think this page essentially narrates the typical recruitment process that a consulting company has. So, of course, you start off by submitting your value proposition, your marketing pitch in the form of CV and cover letter. Out of that cover letter, we will be discussing today. Second is a lot of consulting companies these days have introduced test or some kind of assessment. Yeah? The intention is that before a face-to-face time is invested of a consultants, right? They want to ensure that people are, only those people go to those face-to-face rounds, yeah, so that the workload is reduced and also not so good candidates can be churned out without much cost and most effectively. So a lot of these tests actually test your analytical skills, your math skills, logical reasoning, English. Now, different companies have different strategies for this. Now, McKinsey has added a strategy game, which is psychometric. BCG has 2-3 different types of tests depending on the offices. So a host of tests are entering this particular domain. Then basically, again, some companies have pre-screening calls, which are typically taken by HR, or companies like McKinsey have started, getting it done through some alums in some offices. Again, the intention is to ensure that for the main process, only the well-prepared candidates enter. Okay, so all these phase 1, phase 2, phase 3 are screening in the sense of rejection rounds. Okay, so a lot of people get filtered out already in phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. And then comes the crunch time where we actually go through the interviews. And as most of you know, the interviews means we are talking about a business case solving plus convincing the company about your fitment with the role. Yeah? And that happens multiple times. And most of the time, every interview is always up or out. Means if you don't do good, then very difficult to get a second chance. So first rounds, typically depending on how you perform and which company are you talking about, consist of 2 to 4 interviews. Same thing with the second round or final round. The only thing that changes is with every progressive interview, you talk to people who are more senior. So first, probably a senior consultant or engagement manager will interview you, but afterwards, it's going to be principal or a partner in the last round. And of course, then if you go through all these filtering rounds, then as a result of this, offer will be rolled out to you. And if you accept the offer, then of course, you join as a consultant in that particular company. Yeah, so that's the overall recruitment journey. Yeah, and the intention of this slide also was to not just to tell you the journey, but also tell you that where the cover letter as a criteria fit in. And guys, don't get us wrong. If you actually think about it, though it's the first step and you might feel it's the easiest one, the filtering at this stage of CV cover letter is the highest. When McKinsey says that out of 1,000, we hire, let's say 1 or 2, right? The bulk of the filtering out happens at the CV cover letter stage itself. Okay, so it should not be taken lightly. Okay, okay. So last time we discussed CV. Let's now discuss the cover letter. Yeah. So there are certain things in the cover letter which are very familiar. You must have written a lot of letters and covering letters to different applications, and the salutation parts, right? Be it the name, the address. The person that you're addressing, his name, etc. Some of these things are similar, okay? But what is different or what is special about a consulting cover letter is that it needs to be, again, a very crisp one-pager cover letter, and which showcases your structured thinking, which showcases your fitment to consulting as a profession, to a particular company, etc. Okay. And we always say that for a consultant to be successful, there are 3 things: analytical thinking, problem solving, and top-down communication, or crisp and very executive level communication. Now, don't forget all these things when we coach you to perform in the interview. It's not just about interview. These things needs to be demonstrated across the recruitment, including the CV and cover letter as well, right? And you need to keep that in mind, that the cover letter also need to come out quite crisp, to the point, yeah, and it needs to demonstrate your consulting abilities. Yeah. So some of the points that slide mentions, it needs to fit on the on one slide. Absolutely. Conventional font, don't go for a funny font. Use formal fonts like Arial, Times, etc. Just because you want to crunch a lot of stuff on a single page, don't make the fonts like 8 and 9. That's not a good strategy. Keep it 11 or more, and make your content crisp rather than the font size small. Okay. Now, what should be covered in the cover letter? See, just like CV, understand that cover letter is also a very, very personal document. Okay. In the sense, people with different backgrounds, yeah, would be trying to represent different things on the cover letter. Okay. But more or less, if you see, typically, there are few things that should be covered in the cover letter. One is why you should be considered, or why should we hire you. Second, why consulting? Okay. And third is within consulting, why are you targeting this particular firm? Okay. So this is a typical, coverage of a cover letter. Okay. Now understand, more or less, you will say that, a lot of these things are also covered in the CV. Now, how is CV and cover letter are different? Okay. So you should think about multiple differences over here. If you think from a CV perspective, guys, the CV is written in an achievement format. Yeah. So you talk from the perspective of project. So help a telecom company, probably cut cost in the procurement of silicon by 2%. Just a hypothetical example, right? So you would typically write your achievements over there. So it's an achievement-oriented document or achievement-oriented communication. Okay. Whereas if you see the cover letter, yeah, the twist or the cut that you need to give to this is mostly capability driven, right? For example, if you see, this person has spoken about how he has demonstrated analytical problem solving, interpersonal skills, and leadership. Now, these things that he has probably substantiated under analytical problem solving might be coming from multiple achievement across his CV. But the view he has taken is a capability view. And that's the view that typically works the best in a cover letter language. Okay, remember that. Secondly, we talk about three sections, right? Why me, why consulting, why firm. Again, from a best practice perspective, each section should have a couple of arguments answering, each of these points, right? Why should we hire you? Why consulting? And why a particular firm? Writing styles, again, very crisp, short sentences, active voice, and simple vocabulary. Now, simple vocabulary, or in a lot of places you would have heard jargon-free communication. Yeah, needs to be be the flavor across your recruitment process. Yeah, not just in cover letter, but also in CV and also in your interviews. Try and use or try and minimize, in fact, jargons as possible. Okay. Again, one funny. There was a coach, a good friend of mine. He used to describe a cover letter as it's like a love letter. Okay. The 3 points that you should be trying to convey, is I love you, you will love me, let's get married. Yeah. So just at a high level, remember this, right? So what are we talking about in a cover letter? It's like a love letter, right? So if you write a love letter, what are you essentially trying to communicate is the compatibility. Yeah. And of course, if you are analytical, then not just compatibility, but you want probably the next step communicated to your girlfriend or your boyfriend, right? Just like that. Yeah. What you're talking about is, I have so many skills or capabilities so that you will love me, right? I know so many things about you which makes me love you, right? And I feel that there is a compatibility, and then let's get married or let's try and work together. Yeah, it's a high level theme that one should remember while writing the cover letter. Yeah, don't get the words. Just try. It's a humorous take to it, but the point remains that there's a solid point in this. Yeah, that this is the way to think about a cover letter. Okay, let's go to the next slide. Okay, so let's talk about each and every section that we spoke about. Okay, so why me section? Again, as I said, this particular part of the cover letter, there are different versions of sentences and kind of best practices that are listed, and you guys can easily read through that. Yeah, but do not forget that the essential crux of this particular section is the pitch. Yeah, it should basically talk about why should you hire me. Okay, and don't forget again to underline the same point. Why should we hire me? In one version you have already communicated on CV. Yeah, don't copy paste the same thing over here. That's why I strongly suggest you take a capability view over here. Okay, to communicate what are those top 2-3 capabilities or skills that are coming out of your CV, of your experience and academics, which should make them consider you. Okay, so remember this as the crux of this particular section. Yeah, if you can go forward, Alexandra. Yeah, I think people would have seen this. This is just an example of someone trying to club his achievements in 3 buckets, like so analytical problem solving. So he has given a couple of examples. I was nominated by firm's leadership to support national regulatory authority, etc., right? So this section contains a couple of proofs which says that this particular person has a good analytical problem solving. So a couple of proofs you can point out over here, on each of these points. Go forward. Okay. Now, why consulting? So we can directly go to the next slide. So why consulting is a section. Okay. So why consulting and why this particular firm is together basically should be a fitment criteria. Okay, and over here there are a lot of good and typical points that you can think about in terms of the common reasons for consulting. Right? I like problem solving. I like I like the client facing roles. I like collaborative work, etc., etc. So there is a laundry list of that, and you can get that laundry list anywhere, even if you just Google it. But the point is, pick up things from your experience which are most relevant for you. Okay, and here, guys, one way to think about it is this is the section which ultimately should tell you or should tell the recruiters a story that consulting is naturally falling in your career progression. Okay, consulting is a part of your larger career strategy. Getting the point? Yeah. So it shouldn't come out that this person is applying to consulting just as as because of because someone else is applying in his batch, or just because consulting sounds sexy. Yeah, so he doesn't seem to have the real reason to apply for consulting. It's the picture that shouldn't come out. Yeah, so there has to be something that talks about I have done this particular work, right? And while doing that, I realized that I have it in me to become consultant, right? And that's why. And I want to, so I'm at X, I want to go to Y, and from X to Y journey, follows a consulting, right? So it has to be seen as a seamless transition. Okay, so keep that in mind and pick up a few nuggets, the reasons which are the most relevant for your kind of previous experience or academic. Okay, and don't pick up points just because they are there on someone else's cover letter, or they just they fundamentally you think are stronger points. No, again, it's like a love letter. Again, going back to the same analogy. Yeah, so it's about matchmaking. Yeah, nobody is better or worse because of a particular achievement. That thing is going to get evaluated on the CV. On the cover letter, it's about matchmaking, right? So be true to yourself. Just extract what is coming out of your own profile, and what can be the story that you can tell to the company in terms of how consulting is a natural fit to me, is the essence of this particular paragraph or this particular section of the cover letter. Okay, go ahead. Yeah, this is very important. Okay, see, it's not that firms don't know that You're not going to put your all your eggs in the same bucket. And though you might say that you are the only company that I'm applying in, you are the only best fit. Yeah, they know that you probably are applying to 10 more firms. Yeah, but that shouldn't prevent you or hold you back from doing research and put a very relevant point. Yeah, because the depth of your points in this particular section, yeah, tells the amount of interest you have in the firm. If you put very, very generic points, okay, then the evaluator of the cover letter will understand that probably this person is not as much related, not as much interested in this firm. Okay, because if you are interested, then you will do network. You will talk to people in the firm, right? You will do a lot of primary and secondary research, and as a result of that, you will have something to say which is very specific. Okay, so when you are trying to form 2-3 arguments here, just ensure that at least a couple of them are very, very specific. Okay. In fact, this is the place where the weight game, yeah, or name throwing, yeah, can also be done. So if you have spoken to someone, yeah, then putting his name. So while I discussed the firm's culture with whatever John Smith from a manager from London office or sentences, you are trying to tell them that I'm so interested that I'm speaking to people and I'm getting to know the culture even before I'm part of your company. Yeah. So you are basically expressing your motivation by giving the incidences or by telling them that I am putting in effort. So though you are applying to 10 companies, yeah, don't write generic sentences over here. Okay, make them specific, and I strongly suggest that you do speak to a couple of people from the office in order to get those golden nuggets, right, which are specific to that office, specific to that consulting company, so that your cover letter can be very rich and it differentiates itself from 1,000 others, right, which get rejected. Okay, go forward. Great. I think that concludes at least the explanation of the 3 sections. Yeah. As I was telling you, this is a letter. Okay. So there's a lot of creativity. There's a lot of kind of picking and choosing right stuff. Yeah, that needs to happen over here, right? And which is a very, very profile specific and customized job. Yeah. So of course, to that extent, we have tried covering everything. However, I'm sure you will have a lot of questions which are specific to your profile. I'm happy to answer some of those. Do we have any questions?
So guys, do you have any questions?
Yeah, I actually have a question. Sorry.
Hi, maybe you could turn on your camera and briefly introduce yourself and ask your question.
Yeah. Thank you for the presentation. I just had a quick question. So you said that the cover letter is divided into 3 parts. Why me, why consulting, why X firm? So does it make sense to divide those into 3 separate paragraphs? Like, does each paragraph have equal weightage? Or, as the example that you showed us, there were 3 points, like 3 skills that were listed. Yeah. So what would make more sense? Because you could go 2 different ways, right?
Yeah, and see, the example cover letter was somewhat of a profile who has a lot of experience. Okay,
of course.
So of course the why me part is fat. Yeah, if you are a fresher, probably your say would be a thin part. Yeah, so it's not about equal weightage. Yeah? But those 3, ideally should be 3 different paragraphs. You shouldn't.
Okay.
In fact, a lot of people start off with a very fat paragraph which has mixed flavors. It talks about some arguments about how they are great and some argument about meeting someone and as a result of that applying to that firm, which is a very confusing message. Yeah. Rather than that, you can actually have 3 paragraphs.
Okay, perfect. So in terms of, you mentioned like if you've spoken to someone, that would come in the why X firm part, right? Or could you just mention however you please, like why consulting as well?
I wouldn't put why consulting and someone's meeting in the same argument personally, because I feel that just talking to someone and choosing a career path is a little bit too much. Yeah.
Okay.
Rather than that, I would use that meeting to kind of express something about something specific about this firm in the other section. Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, thank you for answering my questions.
Those are also, that's a good point though. I mean, it reminds me of so many cover letters that I've reviewed over the years, where some of the arguments are funny, right? So some arguments talk about, I heard you in this particular conference and it completely changed the trajectory of my career, and now I want to do consulting. This is okay. I mean, this is probably, it sounds good, but this is so impractical, right? So if one data point, like hear and say data point can sway your opinion, then probably you should not be in consulting.
Yeah, I definitely didn't mean it like that. I just meant like as an example to sort of boost it.
I'm talking about.
No, of course, yeah.
A few other examples where people actually stretch it. So what happens is, let's say if you have spoken to a partner or an office manager, a senior partner, right? You want to leverage that as much as you possibly can, yeah. And in the attempt of doing that, sometimes people overdo it.
Yeah, no, fair enough. That makes sense. Thank you.
All right. Do we have any further questions? And by the way, guys, can you please also turn on your cameras? Alex. All right. It seems like there are no further questions, and everything seems to be very much clear about how to write a cover letter. So, Gaurav, thank you very much. Really well done. And the team, thanks for preparing it. Really cool stuff. I really begin to enjoy our webinars. I think we've definitely reached the next level in terms of the quality of the content and the presentation. So, let's basically move on to the next part. And today, I have a special gift for you. There is just one video message which I also wanted to share with you, and I'm extremely excited because when I spoke to that person, I felt so amazed. I have a really special gift for you, and just stay for a couple of more minutes and you will definitely see this. So I just wanted to announce that over the last 8 weeks, or maybe just over the summer period, 8 of our mentees have received already 14 job offers. So there was one more job offer came in last week, and these guys are about to join all those leading consulting firms in the coming months and weeks, like Bain, like McKinsey, Roland Berger, Strategy, and EY Partner. Maybe you have also seen the story of Mark, who is now joining the strategy consulting firm in Dubai. Or maybe you have also seen one of the stories about the Ahmed. And this is exactly the gift which I want to share with you. Can maybe some of you still recall who is Ahmed Shamsuddin, like the guy who has participated in one of our webinars as a candidate, and how much he struggled during the case interview preparation in March and April this year. Would you like to know what happened to him? Can you just identify this into the chat or say yes, whether this is something interesting for you? Yeah, thanks, Eli. So Ahmed turned to us, actually, maybe just to give you a couple of background. Ahmed turned to us when he was completely devastated in February this year. So he was like completely pissed off, in all honesty, because of the whole COVID situation. He was completely demotivated because he was not able to get any interview invite. He was not able to practice. He was not even able to showcase his consulting skills. And you know what happened? In that extremely down state, he actually reached out to us. And then we started working with him. And oh my God, this was really much intense. We also have here Michelle Kalai, who's from the same batch as Ahmed. So they both started working together, and it was like, oh hell! It took so many efforts to keep his motivation rising, and then we also helped him through the referrals to secure his interview invites. And you know what? Through that very intensive preparation with myself and with Gaurav Bosle and with our excellent mentors, Alessa and Elena, he finally resulted in getting the offer. And he's actually the guy who is staying behind that logo of EY Partner. Because last month, he actually joined EY Partner in Qatar. By the way, Lena is now sharing the video. So you can actually click on the link and go to visit our LinkedIn page in my profile, where the whole video is also there. So click on the link, which is now appearing in the chat, to see this post, you can feel free to like it, to share it, to comment it, to congratulate Ahmed, to see him, to connect with him, to see his background. So click on the link, which is now appearing also in the chat. And yeah, guys, if you are really motivated to go for consulting, if you are really motivated to go through all these challenges, I want to offer you my hand and give you my commitment to help you to get there. We, together with Gaurav, with the entire team, we will help you to go through all the challenges. We will help you to secure your interview invites through your network and through our network. The way we did this with Ahmed. And we will also help you to get ready for your interview invites and basically to secure you the job offer. Imagine, how would you feel yourself the day that you will receive an offer from one of your desired company? Ally, how would you feel yourself the day that you would receive an email from Kearney saying something like, "Dear Ally, it was a great pleasure talking to you last Thursday. My congratulations, we decided to give you an offer. Could you please share your postal address as well as your passport details and confirm your entry date? Looking towards to hearing from you back soon. Best regards, Maria, on the behalf of the entire HR team." Ally, how would you feel yourself that day?
Yeah, I don't think I'd have words. I don't have words right now, so would be pretty speechless.
And this is actually what we are working with you towards, and this is what we are working towards with every of our clients. So do you really want to join the consulting industry and become one of this this 1% who really get the offers? If this is a yes, then do the first step right now and book a first session with our client manager and arrange the strategy call with me or with our team. And I even have a special offer, because usually the strategy session with me, where we cover your situation, where we cover and giving your advice on how to get towards consulting and your application roadmap and answer all of your questions and find the right service for you. It usually costs 400 euros, but today we only given it for 1/8 of the price. And this offer is very limited for the next 3 days. You can actually get it for only 50 euros. So now there will be a link appearing to book the session with me through the client manager. So click on that link and you can have a chance. Do the first step already today to book the strategy call with me. Alexandra or Alina, is the link appearing now, or do the guys still need to click on the LinkedIn post?
It is appearing in a second. And before we're going to say goodbye to each other, I want also to ask you to follow us on our social media, because if you have any feedback and something good, something bad, really please share it with us on our social media. We really want to become better, to develop ourselves and to do the best for you in order to help everyone. So please follow us, because there are some interesting posts we're really working on, and about consulting, about all these insights from our coaches. You can find it there. And also your feedback is the most important for us. So thank you, everyone. Thank you, André, Gaurav. Thank you, everyone who participated in today's webinar. I hope that it was productive for you. I hope that you found out lots of interesting information about the cover letter. And now your cover letter is going to be perfect. Thank you so much, guys.
And guys, use the opportunity and book the first session today. Don't hesitate. Don't waste your time, because now is really the best time. If I can only give you the best, one last piece of advice. The new hiring season is coming now. It already began in August, and it will only go mostly for September and October. So don't wait for another year. Today we have in the market just the very best conditions we've ever had since the pandemic has begun. So the market has really picked up. So hurry up and take the first step today. Like on Monday, I had my first call with one of the partners at Kearney in the Middle East, and they're currently looking to close 17 positions. They're hiring like crazy. If you want to become one of the consultants, then don't hesitate. Book the first session right now. Click on the link to book the first session with our client manager and to come up to the strategy call. She will arrange it for you. So take your opportunity today, because there will be no opportunity tomorrow. Thank you very much for all the team preparing this. And also thank you very much for all the clients who are coming up to the webinars. Thanks to all of you. Thanks to Tejas. Thanks to Salvesh. Thanks to Alexander, Shivangi, Chris, Selena, Paulina, Michelle, everyone attached. Yeah, it's my pleasure to serve you. Take care and cheers. Bye-bye.